Hey guys, welcome to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Happy Monday morning. Hope everyone's all right. Hope everyone's okay. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Obviously, yes, Spurs played yesterday, so we'll be talking about the cup loss to Aston Villa. I want to go back to something that I said probably a week to 2 weeks ago as well, which I want to bring back, and you'll see what I mean when I get to it, by the way. I won't talk about it this second. I'm going to be talking about weird transfer rumors that I think a lot of it's just PR spin. We're going to be talking about some of the comments from the press conference after the match from Ange as well. There's a lot of stuff to get through in this one. I didn't go live yesterday, by the way, after the game because I was basically saving my energy to stay up and watch the Super Bowl, which, you know, I don't support either team, but it was a good hate watch regardless. So look, let's talk about the game yesterday. And Morgan Dragon, Sonia, Marshall, Spurs, Magic, Jazz, Milton, Bazza, Jonah, Hogan, Bill, Dean. How are we? The game yesterday, really quickly. I'm not going to spend a lot on this because you're probably sick to your core about the game. You probably don't want to hear about it too much more. So we're going to just whiz through it in really the space of a couple of minutes because obviously we go 1-0 down with inside a minute. Kinski saving a shot where had he pretty much just stood up, he'd have saved it regardless. Look, the goal itself wasn't good enough, but actually his distribution was decent that game and actually made quite a few saves. So yes, the 1-0 doesn't help, but he probably stopped it from being 5 or 6-1. Okay. So, you know, you weigh it up. But I'm just saying, I think people are starting to appreciate Vicario that little bit more, which I think is not a bad thing. You know, I mean, Ange said something surrounding, you know, we're playing 3 times a week. We're playing with the same sort of 13 players. There's no able to, you know, rotate X, Y, and Z, right? And I actually somewhat agree with it. I do. You obviously have to. I mean, if you don't, then I'm kind of confused as to what you're thinking. But my issue is why is it Lucas Bergval, Archie Gray, Matisse Tell, Jed Spence? Okay, now Spence is a little bit older than those 3. I get it, but just hear me out on this thought process. Why is it those 4 are more leaders in this squad than, you know, Rodrigo Bentancur, Heung-Min Son, Kulusevski even, you know? Why is it those 4 seem to be like a weird spine, a weird core for this team? It shouldn't be that. It should be, you know, the Bentancurs and these guys bringing them in and bring them up and nurturing them. These 4 are like, seems like the only 4 that seem to give a damn. You know, it's the last 2 players on the pitch clapping the away fans, which, by the way, the away fans singing for Poch didn't rate, but the away fans as a whole, great support yesterday. Absolutely phenomenal support. They were louder than the Villa fans. You know, you could hear it quite often. They were singing, you know, lots of Levy out chants. You know, they were in loud support and they didn't have anything to shout about in the first 80 minutes. So fair play to those guys as well. And obviously, it's not a short journey up to Birmingham, okay? From wherever you are in the country, it's not a short journey up there. So fair play to the away fans. But after the game, it's Matisse and Ange. They're the only 2 out there clapping the away fans. That's the only 2. You know, where are the leaders in this group? I get that you could be tired. I totally get that you're tired, by the way. And I'm not knocking that you're not tired. But there seems to be a real lack of self-awareness through this squad. I don't know, maybe that's what I'm missing. There seems to be a real lack of self-awareness at times from this squad. You know, I mean, you look at the game yesterday and you've got Rodrigo Bentancur just jogging around whilst Morgan Rogers is just running rampant and running wild. Every now and then I'm just thinking, look, if you can't get back to him, just bring him down. Just Cynical, bring him down, get the booking, fine. But don't let him run wild. The amount of times he just stood there and Bentancur's nowhere to be seen. Bergval's nowhere to be seen. I truly don't understand it. I truly, truly don't understand their lack of effort in that regard. Now, yeah, again, fatigue is something, and we always have to keep that in the back of our mind that there is fatigue in this squad. Okay, there is. The fatigue should be on your Pedro Porros, your Dejan Kulusevskis, your Heung-Min Sons, right? Your Archie Grays. He shouldn't be on a Bentancur. He's played next to no minutes compared to some of those guys. Why is it that, people seem to attack Sons and things like that, but Bentancur, no one says anything. And I think he's our best midfielder on his day, but his day is like a leap year. It comes every 4 years now. We're to be real. I've said before, when we talk about Basuma, and Basuma, look, the second goal wasn't great for it, but let's be real. The second, when we talk about Basuma, we're like, look, it's inconsistent. We might have to move on. That same narrative must be placed at Rodrigo Bentancur's door as well. For me, in the summer, cash in, both of them. Cash in, move on, right? We cannot reward players with new deals when they're not deserving of them. They're not. When was the last time we saw Rodrigo Bentancur put together a 4 or 5 game stretch where he was really solid? It's probably under Antonio Conte before he got injured. So let's not reward that, What I also have an issue with is Matisse Tell is more of a striker than Son, but he put him out left wing. And that's a bone I have with Ange, a bone to pick. Now, I don't mind it every now and then, sort of for like 5-10 minutes. You might switch him just to change things up and make the defenders think of different things. And I can totally get on board with that idea, which obviously happened towards the back end of the game. But we started with Matisse Tell on the left when he is a number 9. So he needs to be playing the striker, which, by the way, his finish for the goal, really, really lovely. There's a really lovely finish. There's a great ball in, which, shocking that Aston Villa went down to no centre-backs, right? I can't remember what minute Konsa got injured. And we decided, let's not put any crosses in. Let's try and play tiki-taka through them. Put some balls in the box. You're playing against central midfielders, So yeah, that's not great either. But look, happy for Matisse. Great finish. Okay. Now, let's talk about what came out of this press conference, because this is some fascinating things. He went on an attack, Ange, of a defense of the players. By the way, he said the team is just trying its best in extreme circumstances for 3.5 months. If you don't think that's a factor, then I don't know what to say. They're tired, mate. If you think I can press again after playing Liverpool on Thursday night, it doesn't happen. Liverpool rotated their players. I wish I could do the same to bring freshness to the team. Once we get the rest of the players back in, we'll be an outstanding team. And I think there's a point there. Yeah, Spurs is obviously going to be a much, much better team when these guys are fit. But there's also a question mark over. We were told Romero rejoined training, 2 weeks ago? Mickey van der Ven played a game in the Europa League nearly 2 weeks ago. Played 45 minutes. And then Mickey after the game said, I feel great. I feel amazing. And then he just vanished. Oh, he's not ready to play Premier League football yet. It's like, but we were told he was going to be back in January. It's now middle of February. We don't have him. We don't have Romero. Now, Maddison, this still timeline Maddison-wise, I always expected him, I always thought it'd be a push to get him back for yesterday's game. I kind of always thought maybe United at the weekend, maybe that's the game that we might see Maddison. Oh, by the way, this whole last sort of week or so has made me thought, Maddison's pretty good. We kind of miss him, don't we? And it's always that thing, isn't it, when they're playing that you think, change it up. I want to do this. I want to do that. And that's the thing of the situation, isn't it? When you get injuries, and you start to see what you're like without certain players, and you go, God, I kind of miss them. I miss Vicario's leadership and him absolutely shouting at players. Oh no, don't shout at the youngsters, Vicario. That's not okay. Well, we were a better team when he was shouting at those youngsters and he was shouting at his defenders and he was shouting at his midfielders. That's what a leader should be. A leader should be vocal. A leader should show displeasure when the quality of play is not good enough. Romero, we were told end of January. It's now middle of February. Rejoin training, not back. Where is he? Where's Van der Ven? Udogie, they said start of March he'd be back. Supposedly back mid-February. Odebear, something the same. So I just think they spin a wheel, right? They get a wheel. They go, right, so what's his injury? He's got a hamstring injury. Okay, right. I don't know how long that's going to be. Let's spin a wheel. 6 months. Well, it's just a hamstring injury. Well, that's what the wheel says. Just say 6 months and he's back early. Everyone's going to feel okay. I don't think they have an absolute goddamn clue what they're doing in that medical side of things because Japhet Tenganga missed so much football at Spurs through injuries, goes to Millwall, hasn't had an injury. He's played nearly like 50 games in a row, something stupid. No injuries. Like Brian Hill, La Liga. He's had a couple of knocks, but for the most part, he's been pretty healthy. I don't get what that medical team does. I think they've gone cheap, and when you go for something cheap, the results that you get in return normally are worse. And I think that's what they've done in the medical side of things. They've gone cheap, and they're not very good at their jobs because why is it players who come here seem to get injured, they play elsewhere, seem to be healthy as anything. And it's not down to Ange before someone says that. And if you do say it, that's a really lazy take because I'm talking about players like Japhet Tenganga, all right? Brian Hill, they were here way before Ange. That's the point I'm trying to make, by the way, if you couldn't work that one out. Harry Kane. Harry Kane's a prime example. Think of how much football Harry Kane missed with those ankle injuries. Seems to play every bloody game in Bayern and scoring all the goals and assisting all the goals. No issues. So look, they need to have a word. They need to do something in that medical side of things because the medical side of the team is completely letting down us as the consumers. Okay. But no, look, we are missing, what was it, 12 players from yesterday's game. Ange said, if you're missing Vicario, Dragic, Romero, Van der Ven, Doggy, Madison, Johnson, Solanke, Odebear, and Werner, take them out of any team. How did Liverpool get on? They did it for one game. Now try and do it for 2.5, 3 months. Again, I think the Liverpool one's a bit of a... I think people using Liverpool losing to Plymouth is quite lazy, in my opinion. I get the sentiment and I get the thought process, but I just think it's a bit lazy. They rotated 10 players. It wasn't like it was a gradual that you lose a player this week, you lose a player that week, a couple of this week. It was 9 or 10 changes they made for one game there and then. Now they should have still won that game with the quality they had, with the Chiesas and Diaz's and Jotas, but it wasn't a gradual thing. It was a complete change up of the team. We've done it. We've had a gradual thing. We didn't lose all the players all at once. It was in the space of a few weeks to a month or so. So I don't really like that as such. But no, you are right. Look, if you're missing the spine of your team and the best players of your team, because you're missing, your best striker, your best playmaker, your best centre halves, your backup centre half, whatever you think of Spence, I still view Spence as a right back. I don't view him as a left back. So the best left back at your club in Desi Udogie and your number one keeper, you're missing a lot there. Okay. And yeah, when you do get players back, you are going to be a much better team. Now that my query into the whole situation now is, sorry, I got an itchy nose. If players who we were told should be back in January, if they are not back for this weekend, we need some communication from the club to tell us what the hell is going on. Because Why the hell? If we talk about this weekend, I'm talking about Man United this weekend. It's Sunday game, isn't it? Maybe just bring it up just to double check. Spurs versus Man United. Sunday 4:30. Okay, so by the way, preview will be out on the Friday. If we're talking about Sunday right now, so it's nearly a week away. All right, let's just call it a week. If Vicario is not bad, but Vicario's been in training now a while, and I'm not no issues with him not rushing him, by the way, because it's he had a big injury and it's a bone situation. It's not like a muscle. You want to make sure that you don't rush it. You ease him back in. Vicario, let's start there. Van der Ven, Romero. Surely one of those players is back fit. At least one of those players is back fit. You'd expect. So I'm expecting those centre halves to be fit. By the way, if I'm told January they're fit, we're now middle of February. I expect them to be fit. Now they might not play a full 90, and I have no issues with the idea that they can't play a full 90. But you can sure as hell play 45 minutes between you, couldn't you? Start with Romero, bring on Mickey, or start Mickey and bring on Romero, and you have Kevin Dancer as the other centre back. Where the hell are these guys? They come back to training. One plays a game. One's been in training. Vanish. A doggy, they said middle of February. I'm not going to rush that one. Spence has been very good, but I'm not going to rush that one because, again, they said middle of February. We're on that timeline trajectory. I'd probably say he's back maybe towards the back end of Feb. That because they said start of March at first. I think the back end of Feb is when you'll see Destiny back. Odebear, they said sort of mid-February. Again, I think he'll be towards the back end of February. Johnson, we have no idea when Johnson's supposed to be back fit. They just said, he's going to be out for at least a few weeks. It's like that's really vague. It's like when you order something and you go, it'll be delivered tomorrow. You're like, yeah, so when? They go, yeah, it'll be delivered tomorrow. We'll let you know closer to the time. It's like, well, I can't sit indoors all day for this. I need to have some idea. And that's the thing with like some of our injuries. They go, yeah, be out for a few weeks at least. It's like, surely we'll have an idea as to like a timeline, a time frame as to 4 to 6 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, 2 to 3, whatever. There seems to be no transparency when it comes to these situations. Now, Solanke, he's back, in terms of fitness early next month, potentially. Richie, we still have no idea. By the way, Richie got injured on Thursday. We still have absolutely no idea on his situation, how long he's going to be out. That's my issue. There's the lack of transparency from the club is quite alarming. But yeah, in terms of this weekend, if I had to put a guess on who has the best chance of being back healthy and fit, it would be the keeper and the two centre halves. Obviously, we know Radu's done for the season, and he's done till pretty much this time next year. Destiny, they said mid-February, but I doubt, with all the injuries we have, we don't need to be rushing players like that back. We rushed him back from his big injury last season, gave him no time to have a pre-season and get going. Then our own fans, of course, turn on our players. Oh, he's crap. He's this, that, and the other. Cool. Yeah. Glad you have no idea how a build-up works to coming back from an injury. But in reality, the centre-backs should be the other ones. The centre-backs, there needs to be something there for us because I can't keep banging on about this. I saw Mickey van der Ven play football. Let me bring up my calendar. I saw Mickey van der Ven play football nearly 2 weeks ago. 10 days ago. We'll call it that, right? 10 days ago, I saw Mickey van der Ven play football and then vanished. But we were told it's not an injury. Right. Okay. What? I don't get that. There's something. 2 plus 2 equals 4, right? 2 plus 2 shouldn't equal 3. And we're missing something there. There's a number missing to make that 4. So we're missing a little bit of information here. They said end of they when Romero got injured, they said end of Feb, which makes me think he did quite a bit of damage to his quad because a quad injury is a few weeks normally. And he'd been gone, he's been gone 2 months. So he must have done some pretty decent damage to that quadricep. And I know people will go, it's only because he wants to play for Argentina. It's like, oh, it's just, if you're one of those people, I can't, I don't know what to say anymore. The guy played injured against Ipswich. He got injured the game before Ipswich, played against Ipswich, and went and played for Argentina. He was injured for it all. He shouldn't have obviously gone to Argentina and played, but also at the same point, he goes, well, but if I can play in the Premier League, surely I can play for Argentina. And I get that. And I'm not going to take that away from him. I get that. But if you think he only cares about Argentina, it's a really lazy old take. He only cared about Argentina because Conte is an absolute moron and he hated Conte. He actually likes Ange. He's backed Ange publicly. And I do think if he could play, he would. Just, I don't know. But look, let's hope we get some players back fit and healthy. I'd expect quite a few players back in training this week. I'd expect the level of training of certain players coming back to be stepped up this week. Vicario, for example, I expect him to be training properly. I'd hope this week he's been, saving shots and he's been working it out on the grass with the other players. So I expect, the step up there. We'll see about Romero. He came back and did some light training. Then he was doing gym work. So we're not really sure where that is truly just yet. I'd hope to get some information this week. Mickey, he's played. He's done some training. Let's hope it was just a little bit of soreness and he's back ready to rock and roll this week and get some minutes into his body. Maddison, I can see Maddison training this week. I've got a feeling that he will. Jono and Werner. I think Werner's still going to be out a little while, but I think Jono has maybe a chance in the next couple of weeks as well. The irony is right this second is the first weekend of March would have been the 5th round of the FA Cup. Now, right now, there is no football that weekend. They might obviously rearrange things and things can happen between now and then, but Spurs might get a week off from football, which I think would bloody help. Just be like, look, go and sit indoors and play FIFA for a couple of days. Go and sit indoors, play some Call of Duty, whatever, and just rest. Play some Skyrim. That's how I ever want to rest. I play a bit of Skyrim and I sit back and chill. So look, let's talk about some of these weird transfer rumors, and I think these are all PR spins. Okay. First one. This one came out 2 days ago, but it was pretty much yesterday. Is an exclusive from Nicola Shearer saying that Arsenal and Tottenham are monitoring Fiorentina striker Moise Kean. He has a release clause of 52 million euros valid from July. Now, I don't know if you know Moise Kean. If you don't, that's fine. Not a problem. I'm happy to jump in here and tell you a few things. He struggled in the Premier League. Okay. Right. He played for Everton. He played at Everton and it wasn't a great time for him. Okay. And so I get why people go, I don't want him. I don't want him, And again, I get that. I'm not gonna deny it. I might get that. 52 million euros, let's call it 45 million pounds. Big amount of money. The only reason you would get him in is that you are selling Richarlison. Okay. He has had a good season though. And this might surprise you. He played 28 times this season so far across the Serie A Conference League, Italy Cup, and the Conference League qualifiers. 28 games played, 19 goals, 2 assists. I mean, 21 goal contributions for Fiorentina, who obviously aren't one of the big boys. So, I mean, fair play on the stats. I'm obviously not blown away by it because obviously I'm still thinking of Everton and how that went. And, that is obviously Premier League football. Yes, I know Everton at the time, style of play maybe didn't suit him. But I have actually seen him, in our league and it wasn't good. Do Spurs need a striker? I mean, potentially. I mean, West Brom apparently quite like Will Lancashire at the moment, by the way. I was looking at quite a few of the West Brom fans, and they all quite like him, which, hey, great to see. Richarlison obviously can't stay fit. By the way, that's another one. Richarlison, Bissouma, Bentancur, cash in terms. See you later. And I love Richie. I do. Out of the three of them, I actually really like Richie. He cares. He does care, and you can see that he cares. But also, we can't carry players that can't stay fit. That's the crux of it. Now, unfortunately, obviously, had to play a lot of football due to the situation that we found them ourselves in. And yes, maybe if Solanke had stayed fit, he'd maybe be fitter now. But then, obviously, at the same time, we really lost Richarlison towards the start of our injury issues. He came back. We still have injury issues, and he's injured again. There's the issue. But look, Moyes Keane, not blown away by this one personally. £45 million. It's not crazy money when it comes to football nowadays, but I don't personally see it. I did watch the Super Bowl. Yes, XL. I did. I stayed up and I watched it, and I very much enjoyed the Chiefs losing, and forever the GOAT. There'll be never discussions ever again. Forever the GOAT. But there you go. Look, Angel Gomez, I want to talk about this one because obviously on a free this summer, there's a couple of things I want to talk about this one actually. Now, obviously, we've been linked to Angel Gomez quite a few times over the past 6 months, really, I think, actually. He is a guy, obviously, yes, on a free. You could actually agree with a deal with him now for this. A lot of French reports saying Spurs are going to be active and trying to get Angel Gomez this summer. Mike McGrath, a week ago, saying the same thing. We're still going to be linked with Tyler Dibbling as well for the summer. I've actually watched Lille a couple of times over the last few weeks. Angel Gomez is on the bench quite frequently at the moment. Now, maybe he's had some injury issues and they're just trying to ease him back in. But Lille got beat by a League Two or League Two team and knocked him out of the cup. They've not been very good. I watched them at the weekend. They were rubbish again. They played bottom of the league and lost 2-1. And he doesn't play. I mean, Andre Gomez plays ahead of him, who played at Everton. So I'm a bit confused by what's going on. And people obviously want, that six who is more of a dominant six. And obviously Cardoso, we're linked with Cardoso. But, if we're going to have the situation of sell Basuma, sell Bentancur, you got Archie. And I would follow me here. I would use Archie as the Basuma replacement. Not hang on, don't shout down the screen at me. I would have a replacement as a Bentancur replacement as a six, an actual six. So then I'd use those guys more as my holders. I would then buy an 8 who can vary a bit of 6 from time to time. But that's what I would do. That would be the Basuma proper replacement. Move Gray into the midfield. Yeah, that's probably what I would do. Will Andre go? I actually don't see this deal happening for some reason. I just think Man United will try and get him in because he's free. He is obviously a former Man United boy, England international. I think that's what they'll probably do. I don't see Spurs involved in this deal personally. Could be wrong, but I don't think he'll come to Spurs. Dibbling. I mean, if Southampton go down, I wonder what that maybe does to his value. He'll have suitors. I think they probably will sell him in the summer and get some good money. We'll see on that. But we do probably need a right winger as such. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I think a few of you probably said it anyway. I've missed loads of comments. I apologize, I have missed loads of comments. But, I would say Angel Gomez maybe isn't the play for me. Maybe not the play for me, is all I'm going to say. But let's sort of see on this one. Let's sort of see on this one because this will be a deal that Spurs love, wouldn't it? You know, cheap, free, you know, English, all those things. They love those sort of things. Okay. Um, but yeah, we'll sort of see. Obviously, good stuff today in terms of information from the press conference and Ange biting back, the game. Obviously, tomorrow, loan roundup. Can't wait to talk about Jamie Donnelly and Josh Keeley a bit more. Loan roundup tomorrow. I'm also going to be doing a video this week where I'm going to be talking about the summer transfer window ahead of schedule, things that I want to see happen as well. And I'm going to be doing that because that's going to be more of an interactive one. We can all get involved in that situation. So I'm going to be doing that, and I'll be keen to see what you all think of some of the ideas that I have. But we'll sort of see that when I get to it a bit closer to the time. But anyway, go and enjoy the rest of your mornings, afternoons, evenings, wherever in the world. And I'll speak to you all maybe a little bit later. If not, I will speak to you tomorrow to talk hopefully Spurs in a more positive fashion and light. Enjoy the rest of the days, everyone. Take care, look after yourself, and I'll speak to you all soon. Peace.